and welcome back to another Let's Finish What We Started process video. In today's video, I am going to be working on the next 4 layouts inside of Mabel's baby album. A couple of these are going to be the stats pages, and a couple of them are going to be story layouts, but we'll get into that here in just a second. I do want to mention that there is one layout here that I don't have totally prepared yet. I've just stuck it in here so I can remember where it goes. But this one I'll come back to later and finish it up once I have the journaling and the photos from my sister-in-law, Caitlin. So let's go ahead and dive into the 4 layouts for today. Once I have everything done, we'll slow down and I will flip through all of the pages that we create, and then we'll close up from there. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to start by creating the opening pages for month number 3. So for this one, I am pulling back out those plastic numbers. These were from an older Week in the Life collection, I believe from 2020. And I purchased a couple sets of them so I could create the same look for all of my month openings from month 1 all the way to month 12. I then also printed off the monthly stats for month 3 here, and I will have some close-up pictures of these in the post. So if you're curious to see what different stats I had my sister-in-law keep track of and the different questions that I asked her for the month, you can see some close-ups there to get some ideas for your own albums if you're creating baby albums as well. Now, in the next couple of opening pages, we're going to do the same thing that I did for, I believe it was month number 1, where I created a filler page with a bunch of stamped out words. I have pre-created some of the stories already for month 4 and I believe for month 5 as well. So I knew going into it that I was going to need a filler page, which is why we're going to create the stamped out words for those. However, for month number 3, I actually open up my stories with a 1-page layout that's going to go on the right-hand side. It's actually one that I don't have ready to go quite yet. It's going to have a flip out and all of these things. Anyway, because of that, I didn't need a filler page, and therefore I went ahead and adhered the photo directly on the back side of the stats page, and then I could hole punch that and put that directly into the album. So for this one, there's not going to be any additional stamping or story or anything like that that's going to go with these opening pages. I do, however, need to go and create my transparency here at the beginning. I started by adding the title up at the top, just on a tab in my own handwriting that says 03MO dot to stand for 3 months. Then I took the plastic 3 and I stapled it onto the transparency. You probably noticed that the transparencies do not go all the way to the edge of the photos. They are, I believe they are exactly 3 inches wide instead of the almost 4 inches wide. So I have the numbers go off the edge a little bit and I staple them in place to help take up more space. Then I'm doing the exact same thing as before with treating these all the same, adding 2 stacked tiny phrase stickers and then 1 chipboard star above those. This here is actually going to be the only quote-unquote story page that I'm going to do this week. All of the rest of them are those intro pages. For this one, I am using the Strong Story Kit from Ali Edwards. This was a layout concept that I had sketched out back when I crushed this kit, but I never actually created this layout. So this is, I believe, for real, the very last strong story that I have to create. For this one, I am using the quote that says, "Strength comes in all shapes and sizes," and I punched that out using my 3-inch circle punch and added that right onto this photo of May making a super cute frowny face. There's something about those like boo-hoo faces for infants that are just adorable and heartbreaking at the same time. Am I right? So on top of the punched out circle, I added a chipboard that says, what does it say? "Your strength inspires me." is what that says. And then what I did for this story in general is I sent my sister-in-law a request for a story about May where she was showing strength in a particular situation. So the story that my sister-in-law decided to tell was about this hip issue. She actually had to go see a specialist just to make sure that it wasn't anything that needed further attention. And luckily it all worked out where she didn't need to have any casting or any other special medical procedures done. It was just a hip issue that she eventually grew out of. But the story of going to see the specialist and being in a doctor's office in this kind of way, being poked and prodded, and Caitlin couldn't have Alex go in with her at the time. It was in the middle of COVID, so Caitlin had to go in with May all by herself. And it just wasn't something that was super easy for them. So this became the story of May's strength, but also of Caitlin's strength. So Caitlin had her journaling that she typed up and sent to me. And then I used a couple of journaling cards to create this layered effect on the actual journaling. So at the top, I have the portion that says strong because. And then underneath that, I used one of the cards that had this kind of scallopy pattern on it, and I fussy cut portions of it out to put right underneath the title, and then also at the bottom of the card to help ground and give everything this framing sort of effect on that card. I super love the way that that turned out. So the journaling portion is a 3x8, so it's just going to slip down inside of a 3x8 page protector. And then the back side is a pattern paper that's going to finish out that section of the album. Next, I'm going to grab out my 4-month divider here, and we're going to pull all the pieces out to put together the intro pages for month number 4. So we're going to start by adding the tabs to the top of the transparency. And then once I have that portion done, I will grab out, there's going to be a photo, a blank piece of paper, and then also the monthly stats page for month number 4. So this one is one of the stories where I already had pre-done a couple of stories inside of the 4-month section. So I needed to create a filler page, and that's one of the things you're going to see me do here. On my little journaling or my sketch, I had written out the 4 different words that Alex and Caitlin used to describe May at this point in time. So they described her as being fun. They described her as being, I'm trying to remember all the words. It was fun and impatient and something else, and then loud. So we'll see as I get stamping here. So I'm going to skip over a bunch of this because it's just repetitive, me stamping with the different inks. I'm using, active. There it is. Fun, impatient, active, and loud. So I used a collection of my Ali Edwards Crafters inks. These are the same ones that I used for the previous month. I believe it was month number 1. And I'm going to continue to use these same colors in the same pattern for any of the filler cards or filler pages that I'm going to make like this. There'll be a couple more, but eventually we'll get to the point where Caitlin stopped doing some of the stats. So there are a few months where we are statsless, and we're just going to go with it, and it's going to be totally fine. You know, take what we have and not get too caught up in what we don't have. So I stamped that out in a rainbow color or rainbow pattern. We've got the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then pink at the bottom. And I just repeated those 4 words. I believe I was able to repeat them twice. But I just wanted to keep repeating them until I filled in the entire page. Then I am adhering the filler card there, or filler page, to the back of the full page photo, trimming everything off to make sure that it is all even, and then we're going to hole punch it and add it inside of the album. Once I have the photo punched here, that I'm going to stick back in the album first, along with the transparency, lining those up so I can then add on the plastic number 4 and go through the tiny phrase stickers to find some that sort of kind of made sense. When I'm looking for my tiny phrase stickers, I generally am looking for ones that are fairly generic, things like currently and right now, and, we love you so much, or loving this, just really kind of general generic types of sentiments that I can stick on there without any true rhyme or reason. I think one of these said like the world is your playground, and that kind of made sense. And then I'm going to stick one of those chipboard stars above the 2 tiny phrase stickers. This time I chose the pink ones because I felt like it went pretty nice with some of the pink tones in the pattern paper that it lines up to. And then I'm going to also go ahead and adhere the stats page back to back with the photo, this full page photo that is the first story for month number 4. This was one that I created a while back using the kindness story kit, one that I super, super love, the picture of Caitlin and May. I don't know how she got that with her camera. I think she just like held her arm out while they were sitting in the couch and took a selfie, something like that. But really love that one. So for that one, I just needed to line up the holes to make sure everything went in, trimmed around the edge, and then called that one done. Now the last layout that we're going to work on here is yet another intro page. This one's going to be for month number 5 because I had already pre-done all of the stories for month number 4. So I didn't have any stories that I needed to do. It's already there. I just needed those intro pages done. For this one, I am using the exact same formula again. I've got the full page photo that Caitlin took of May in a onesie. They have this blanket that is a Totoro blanket, which Totoro, for any of you who don't know, is an animated TV series or an anime series that they really love and themed May's entire nursery after. So they set her on this Totoro blanket every single month for her first full year in order to gauge how much she had been growing from month to month to month. So here again, I did the exact same thing. I stamped out the 3 different words that they used to describe her in her 5th month of life. They described her as smiley, grabby, and attentive. So I went ahead and repeat stamped that using the same formula as before, going with the rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and pink, and using my Allie Edwards Crafters inks to do that. The stamp set, I don't think I mentioned before, but that is the one little word scripty font in the 6x8 size. I believe that is still a font that they offer, that Allie offers on her website, and it might just be called a script font at this point. But it was originally from the one little word collection. With all of my stamping now done, I'm going to go ahead and adhere the stamped page onto the back of that full page photo, trim everything, and hole punch it. And then I also went ahead and stamped out 05 month on the monthly stats page as well. That's going to go on the back side of a photo that we'll work on a story next week with. So for now, I'm just going to hole punch it and put it into the album and call the stats portion of this good. One of the things that I've enjoyed while working on this album is having some pages that are set up exactly the same every single month or every single section of this album. So having these intro pages that are the same and having the filler pages that look the same, it helps me to not have as much decision fatigue as I'm working through the album. But then to also have included in each month a minimum of 2 stories and up to, I think the most I have is 4 stories in a month that are not necessarily a cookie cutter story, if that makes sense. So they have different themes and different ideas or I just wanted to capture stories of May's first year, rather than focusing entirely on her stats and exactly what she was doing, I wanted there to be stories of motherhood and stories of infanthood and all of those things. So I'm just really, really enjoying how this album is coming together. All right, friends, that finishes up all of my layouts for today. So we'll quickly flip through, starting at the 3-month marker. So we've got the divider here, the photo of May in her 3-month outfit. This is the stats, and then this is that one page that I don't have ready to go yet, but it's just going to be a 1-page thing with a flip out portion. So I was able to go ahead and hole punch the second story here. So we've got then a story of strength and the pattern paper to finish that one out. Then we have 4 months. So the divider there, the picture of May in her onesie at 4 months. Then we've got the stats with our stamped filler page using the 3 words, well, technically 4 words that my in-laws used to describe May. This was a layout that was already done, as was this one. This was already done in here as well. And then we've got the pattern paper here on the back. And then we also have the beginning of 5 months. So we've got the divider here, the picture of May in her onesie, a filler page with stamping and the 5 months stats. And then this was a page that was already created in here with a tag that pulls out for an interactive piece. And then this layout was also already in here with the divided page protector here with 2 3x4s. So next week we're going to finish up 5 months. I have one more story to put right here, and then there's the final story at the end with the pattern paper, and I'm thinking that's probably going to be it. So I will move 6 months into the second album and see if we can keep months 1 through 5 in this one. So just one more layout to go here, and then the one back at the 3-month mark right here that I need to fill in. And then this first volume of May's album will be done. So that's very, very exciting. All right, friends, well, I hope you enjoyed seeing these layouts come together today. I hope you feel inspired to pull out some of your older projects and see if you can't also finish some of the projects that you have already started. Until next time, friends, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the week ahead, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, friends.